Hey y'all, Abdi here. Today I'm going to be replacing the blower motor on my 96 GMT400. It's going to be really simple to do. The only three things you need is a pair of needle nose pliers, a ratchet with the 7mm socket, and then I've got a Phillips head extension for my ratchet. And then of course you'll need the blower motor. Alright, so the first step is going to be to open this. You're going to squeeze the top half of it. You can see there's two tabs up here. And you're just going to come down and unhook it. You can see it's these two pieces right here. You squeeze these, it'll come down and it'll unhook. The next step, once we're actually in here, as you can see, we have these two wiring harness connectors right here. You're just going to reach in there with a pair of pliers and you're going to go ahead and pull these out. Okay, so this one right here on the left is actually just a Spade connector. For me, there's no tabs or anything on it. I literally just have to pull on it. As you can see, oh, my hand's on the way. As you can see, if it'll focus, there's no tabs or prongs on this one for me. It literally just has that one piece. You pulled it off. There's nothing connecting it. On this other one over here, you can see that one tab. You may not even need pliers. You don't. I was able to reach in there with my hand and just disconnect it with my thumb. So on this black one right here, you squeeze this and it should just pull out. Again, it's just another, maybe spade's not the right word. It's just a prong and you pull it off. It's not like it has pins. So there's that. Let me pull my phone out of here because I was using it for light. The next step is there's a tab. Okay, so you can see right here where there's a tab. You're just going to reach in there and pull it back. And this whole shroud covering the blower motor should pull out now. Just kind of have to wiggle it free. A little bit harder because I'm doing it with one hand. But here we go. Here's our cover. And then here's our exposed blower motor. Okay, so the next step is going to be the 7mm bolts. There's going to be 5 of them. There's one right up here, kind of tucked away at the top. If I can find my, no I can't. So it's going to be right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one is going to be right up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those out real quick. Alright, now with all 5 bolts removed, we're just going to take this and wiggle it out. Come out right through the bottom. Here is my new blower motor as compared to the old. Alright, so what I did here is I pulled this rubber hose out of the old one. And I pulled the grommet out of this one, and I'm going to put the rubber hose on the new one. And then there is this ground screw right here on the old one. It's normally a Phillips head. For some reason, it looks like someone might have already been in here before me. So this one's a 7mm for me as well, but normally it's supposed to be a Phillips head. So I'm just going to take this off, and I'm going to reposition it over here, just like it is on the screw hole right here, right next to the connector, just like on the old one. Alright, so now that I've got my ground screw and my hose moved over to the new one, it's about ready to go back in. But before I slide it back in, I just want to add that since we have this out, if you reach in here and up to the left, this is where the blower motor will suck air in from here, and then it'll go into the vents over here. And if you reach in there, there's a little filter that you can feel. These trucks don't really have have cabin air filter, so while I'm here, I'm actually going to vacuum, and I'm going to reach in there, and you can feel there's probably going to be some debris, some leaves, some wrappers, whatever the truck sucked up. Now's a good time to clean it out and vacuum it out while we're here. Alright, so now that I'm done vacuuming it out, the blower motor's ready to go back in. I'm just going to stick it up, line the holes up. You're going to make sure that this piece goes towards the top, and then if you get under here, you can see this is where this hose is going to go on to. So you're just going to slide it in and angle it up. I'm just going to go in just like this. Try and keep these other harnesses out of the way. Get up here. And then it should line up just like this. So you can see in here that there's actually a little rubber, see if I can't see it from here. There's actually a little rubber piece right here for this to rest on. See that? And then that's how you can align it. Okay, I went and actually put all these screws back in with my fingers, and there's actually two pieces for you to line your blower motor up with. There's one right here, and then again there's one on the top, so you should be able to set it on those and rest it there. And I went ahead and started threading these with my hands, and now I'm going to take my ratchet and I'm going to tighten them all up. Alright, so I've got the blower motor back in, I've got all the screws tightened down around it, and I'm actually struggling with this hose right here. I did a little bit of Googling, and it's called the blower motor cooling tube. I watched some other videos, did a little bit of research. Doesn't seem that this is entirely necessary, and I just can't get it to stay in place when I put the cover back on. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to replace the grommet that came with the new blower motor. So now with the grommet back in and everything secure, I'm going to put this cover back on top. Just remember that this tab piece goes towards the top. There's this hole, and then there is this hole with the little cross pieces put in it. There's two plastic basically things for you to rest this on, so you should just line these two holes up with the things in there, and then with that on top, and then your two connectors should protrude through these two holes. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so now I've got the cover back on, I've got it snapped back on in the back. You can see right here, we've got the inserts, and then as well on the other hole I was talking about, and then we've got our two connectors sticking through. So all we're going to do from here is we're going to take our purple wire and we're going to plug it into the main connector that was on the left, and then we're going to take our black wire here, and this is going to go onto the ground screw. So the black wire is going to go to the right, the purple wire is going to go to the left. Alright, so now I've got both of the connectors plugged back in. I heard a nice solid click when I snapped them back on. So they're on there good, they're on there tight, I can pull on them, they're not going nowhere. Everything's screwed back in, everything's back on. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the truck, and I'm just going to make sure that everything sounds good. Okay, so now we're just going to turn the AC on. And everything's blowing good. I've got air. I've got a nice airflow. I got a good pressure. And more importantly, my blower motor is not screaming at me. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to snap my glove box back on. So I'm just going to line the bottom piece up right here. Should kind of hook on like so. I've got these two rubber pieces at the top that I'm going to have to push back in. I've got my glove box back on, and I've got air blowing out of all my vents. So real quick before I end the video, I just want to talk about why I'm making this video. I have some really big plans for the truck. This is my first YouTube video for the truck and the channel. I've got a 4L80E sitting right here behind me that's going to be going in the truck. I've got a 14 bolt and some 2500 rear end, some rear relief springs. And I've got an 0411 PCM sitting on the bench behind me from an 02 Tahoe. That's all going to be going in this truck. So I just kind of want to document all this stuff that's going in the truck. I want to, make YouTube videos, show people how, how to do things, some cool ideas. So this YouTube video is my first one. It's going to be a little shaky, obviously, but just keep following for some more content.